Your Volkswagen is a genuinely clever piece of engineering, and right now, there are settings quietly working against the very engine that cleverness was meant to protect. These are not the obvious mistakes. They are factory defaults and convenient features tuned to pass an emissions test and survive the warranty period, not to keep your engine alive long after it. We are going through all 12, starting with the one that can destroy an engine in a single drive. Number 12. Ignoring the temperature gauge and the warning lights. We start here because this is the one that ends engines, not slowly, but in a single afternoon. To save weight and cost, Volkswagen builds large parts of the cooling system out of plastic, the water pump housing and the thermostat housing in particular, and after years of heat cycling, that plastic grows brittle and cracks. A slow coolant leak follows, the level drops, and the temperature begins to climb while the driver assumes it is nothing. On a modern Volkswagen engine, that assumption is how a cooling job becomes an engine. The aluminum cylinder head warps under sustained heat. The head gasket lets go, and what could have been a $600 water pump turns into a repair running into the thousands, or a scrapped engine. Specialists see the water pump and thermostat housing fail so reliably that they treat them as scheduled wear, often replacing both together once that area is open. The rule is simple and non-negotiable. The instant the gauge climbs above normal or a coolant warning appears, pull over, switch the engine off, let it cool, and have the cooling system pressure tested rather than just topping up the bottle and driving on. One ignored warning is all it takes. With the worst case covered, let us look at the habit that quietly does its damage on the daily commute. Number 11. Using your Volkswagen almost entirely for short trips. This one feels completely harmless because you are driving gently, but short trips as your main pattern stack up damage across several systems at once. On both the turbo petrol and the diesel engines, every cold start dumps extra fuel into the cylinders, and some of it slips past the rings and into the oil. On a proper long run, that fuel boils back off, but on a 5-minute hop to the shops, the engine never gets hot enough, so the fuel stays, thins the oil, and strips away its protection. That thinned, diluted oil is exactly what wears the timing chain and its tensioner, one of the most expensive failures these engines suffer, and on the direct injection petrol engines, those same cold cycles also speed up the carbon baking onto the intake valves. Short trips also never let the battery recover from the heavy draw of starting, which breeds its own electrical gremlins. And on a diesel, they never let the particulate filter clean itself, which is the very thing we turn to now. The fix costs nothing. Give the car at least one good run a week, 20 to 30 minutes at a sustained speed, to burn off the contamination, recharge the battery, and bring everything up to temperature. Number 10. Letting the diesel particulate filter clog because regeneration never completes. Every Volkswagen diesel carries a filter that traps soot and then burns it off once the exhaust is hot enough. A self-cleaning process called regeneration that only happens on a longer, faster run. Live on short, low-speed journeys and the exhaust never reaches that temperature, so the soot accumulates, the filter restricts, and the car warns you before dropping into limp mode with barely any power. A steady amber filter light means it needs a good drive, ideally 15 minutes at motorway speed and higher revolutions to let it finish, while a flashing light means stop and get it diagnosed. The classic stored codes describe soot accumulation above the limit and a particulate trap below efficiency, and the two habits that make it worse are short trips and switching the engine off in the middle of an active regeneration, which traps the soot half-burnt. Leave it too long and you are paying for a forced clean or a replacement filter that runs well over $2,000. A failed regeneration also pushes extra fuel into your oil, which is exactly why the gearbox myth that follows is so costly. Number 9. Trusting the lifetime transmission fluid. If you have the DSG automatic, the dealer may tell you the fluid is sealed for life and never needs changing, so understand what lifetime really means. It means the life of the fluid in a laboratory, not the life of your gearbox. In the real world, it degrades, fills with clutch debris, and stops protecting the most expensive part inside, the mechatronic unit that controls every shift. The wet clutch versions want fresh fluid and a filter roughly every 40,000 miles, and even the so-called sealed dry clutch boxes want a gear oil change somewhere around 60,000 miles. A fluid and filter service runs about $400 to $800, while a failed mechatronic or clutch pack climbs well into the thousands and arrives as a shudder, jerky shifts, and limp mode. Treat it as essential maintenance, not a lifetime freebie, and know that owners who finally service a neglected DSG often feel the shifts sharpen up again, even though any wear already done to the clutch packs cannot be undone. And the same blind faith in factory advice quietly damages the engine through the service schedule itself. Number 8. Following the long life service interval to the letter. Volkswagen's variable, long-life service schedule can stretch the gap between oil changes toward 2 years or 20,000 miles, and independent specialists are blunt about it. That is far longer than these engines comfortably tolerate in stop-start, short-trip, real-world driving. Stretch the oil that far and it degrades, dilutes with fuel on the diesels, and lets sludge build in the narrow passages that feed the timing chain tensioner. And a starved sludged tensioner is precisely how the chain skips. The pistons meet the valves, and you face a 5-figure engine bill. The answer is to have it. Change the oil every 5 to 10,000 miles, regardless of what the service computer says. Fit a fresh filter every time, and use the correct specification. It is the cheapest insurance you will ever buy for this engine. Speaking of oil, the setting just below this is about what you actually pour in. Number 7. Using the wrong engine oil. It is tempting to assume any good synthetic will do, and it absolutely will not. A Volkswagen engine is built around one specific oil approval, printed in your handbook as a number like 504 or 507, with an exact viscosity and additive package matched to the engine's tolerances, its turbocharger, and on the diesels, its particulate filter, which demands a special low-ash formula or it clogs faster. Pour in a generic oil that shears thin when hot, or the wrong approval entirely, and the protective film between metal surfaces fails exactly when the engine is working hardest, accelerating wear on the bearings, the turbo, and that fragile timing chain. The danger is that the wrong oil looks and feels identical going in, then quietly does its harm over thousands of miles. Insist on oil that carries the correct Volkswagen approval for your engine, and never let a workshop tip in a one-size-fits-all barrel without confirming the number on the bottle. On the newer engines, the approval may read 508 or 509 instead, so always match the exact number, not just the viscosity. What you pour in matters, but how you drive in the first 60 seconds matters every bit as much. If you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Number 6. Driving hard before the engine is warm. Every cold morning you start the car and pull straight onto the road. You are running it through its single highest wear phase. Cold oil is thick and flows slowly, so for the first minute the bearings, the cylinder walls, and the turbocharger shaft are all turning on a thinner film of oil than they need. Boot the throttle then, or drop the gearbox into an aggressive downshift, and you are dragging metal across metal before the oil has caught up, and across years of mornings that damage quietly adds up. The DSG gearbox has its own cold behavior too, deliberately softening its shifts until the fluid warms, and forcing it before then grinds the very internals you are trying to protect. The routine costs nothing and takes no extra time. Pull away gently, keep the revolutions modest, and leave hard acceleration and sport modes alone until the temperature gauge shows the engine is properly warm. It is also why letting the car idle cold for 10 minutes does far less good than 30 seconds and a gentle drive. Warming it properly leads us straight into the mode far too many owners simply leave switched on all the time. Number 5. Leaving it in sport or dynamic as your everyday mode. Sport mode is genuinely good fun on the right road, but as a permanent default, especially around town, it quietly works the drivetrain harder than it ever needs to. It holds gears longer and at higher revolutions, sharpens the throttle to a hair trigger, and tells the DSG to shift later and engage more aggressively. On an open road, that is exactly the point. In stop-and-go traffic, it means the gearbox is managing harder, hotter clutch engagements at low speed all day long, building heat in the very fluid we discussed earlier and shortening its working life. For ordinary daily driving, the normal or comfort setting is all you need. The engine sits in a calmer part of its range, and the gearbox runs cooler and lasts longer for it. Save sport for the roads that truly deserve it, and if you want the sharper throttle without the heat, an individual or custom mode lets you keep the engine lively while leaving the gearbox in its relaxed map. That same gearbox takes an even harder beating the moment you ask the car to haul a heavy load. Number 4. Towing without managing the gearbox heat. Plenty of Volkswagens are built to tow, from the Tiguan to the Atlas and the Touareg, and towing is also where owners quietly cook a DSG. Pulling a heavy load up a long grade forces the gearbox to work hard at low speed, where there is little airflow and slow fluid circulation to carry the heat away, and the dual clutch system is particularly sensitive to that heat. Lug it in too high a gear, leave it in the wrong mode, and assume the car simply cannot overheat, and the fluid temperature climbs until the car warns you or drops into limp mode mid-journey. There are documented cases of dual-clutch gearboxes overheating and limiting power on long towing climbs, exactly when you least want to lose drive. The fixes are real and simple. Use a lower gear or the manual mode on long climbs to keep the gearbox cooler, keep an eye on your temperatures, and if you tow regularly, have an additional gearbox oil cooler fitted. The gearbox can tow well, it simply cannot tow hot and neglected. From working the engine far too hard, we swing to the opposite mistake, working it almost not at all. Number 3. Letting it idle for long stretches to warm up. Plenty of owners still believe in idling a cold engine for several minutes before setting off, and on a modern Volkswagen, especially a diesel, that does more harm than good. At idle, the engine barely loads, the cylinders run cool and rich, soot builds instead of burning away, and on a diesel that unburnt fuel washes down into the oil just as it does on short trips. Long idling also produces the kind of low-temperature exhaust that never triggers a proper particulate filter regeneration, so you are quietly feeding the clogging problem from earlier as well. Modern engines are designed to be driven almost immediately, and the engine actually warms far faster and far more cleanly under a gentle load, which simply means driving it rather than standing still. Start it, give it 15 or 20 seconds for the oil to circulate, then pull away gently and let it come up to temperature on the move. Leave the long warm-up idle in the past, along with the carburetors that used to need it. The setting below it is one of the most quietly damaging defaults of all, and it hides inside the Eco button. Number 2. Trusting Eco Mode to look after the engine. Eco Mode feels like the responsible choice, but it is tuned for a fuel economy figure on a test, not for the long-term health of your engine. It softens the throttle and upshifts as early as it possibly can, which on a turbocharged engine can leave it lugging at low revolutions under load, working hard in a rev range it would rather avoid, and it leans hard on the auto stop-start system to shave every last fraction of fuel. None of that is doing your engine any favors in normal day-to-day driving, and over many years that low rev lugging is linked to more carbon and more heat, not less wear. Use the normal or comfort mode for everyday driving, let the gearbox keep the engine spinning in a comfortable, well-lubricated part of its range, and treat Eco as the test cycle setting it really is, rather than a maintenance strategy. And the single feature that Eco Mode leans on hardest is the one setting that ties this entire list together. Number 1. Leaving Auto Stop Start switched on every single drive. That button marked with the letter A inside a circular arrow is the most pressed and most argued about control in the whole car, and it matters far more than owners realize. Most engine wear does not happen while you are cruising. It happens at startup, in the instant when oil pressure is briefly low and metal touches metal before the film rebuilds, and stop-start quietly adds many thousands of extra restarts over the engine's life. The system uses a reinforced starter and a heavier battery to cope, and the engineers insist it is designed for the load, but it was calibrated above all to lift a fuel economy score on an official test cycle, not to extend the life of your engine, and many owners worry about the toll it adds to the starter, the battery, and the dual-mass flywheel. The fix is entirely in your hands. Press that button to switch it off at the start of each drive, or have a specialist code it off permanently with the proper diagnostic software so you never have to think about it again. Get that one habit right and you have quietly protected the engine every single time you turn the key. Now you have it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.